Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into one of the most powerful political writings in history. It's just a short 47-page pamphlet that took a simmering conflict and literally sparked a revolution. Thomas Paine's Common Sense. So, picture this. It's January 1776. The American colonies are already at war with Great Britain. But the idea of declaring full-blown independence, honestly, for most people, that was a totally radical, even scary idea. They were fighting for their rights as British citizens, not to create a whole new country. And then, this pamphlet just drops. It's published anonymously, and it's not written in some dense legal language for scholars. Nope, it's written in plain, fiery English that any farmer or shopkeeper could immediately get. It completely shattered that comfortable custom of being loyal to a king and laid out this incredibly powerful argument for a brand new future. All right, so let's get into it. Let's see how Paine just systematically tears down the entire case for staying loyal to Britain. And he starts with the very idea of government itself. So Paine's first move is just brilliant. He completely strips government of this wholly untouchable halo it had. He argues it's not some gift from God. As he puts it, it's a mode rendered necessary by the inability of moral virtue to govern the world. In other words, it's just a practical tool we had to invent because, let's be honest, people aren't always angels. Now, check this out, because the contrast he draws here is just so sharp. Look at these two columns. On the left, you've got society. He calls it a blessing, something positive that comes from us wanting to connect with each other. But then look at the right, government. That, he says, is a necessary evil. It exists because of our wickedness, and its main job is to act as a punisher to keep us in line. And this quote, wow, it just sums it all up with an image anyone can understand. Government, like dress, is the badge of lost innocence. He's saying it's not a symbol of how great we are, it's a constant reminder of our flaws. And when he says the palaces of kings are built on the ruins, he's arguing they aren't monuments to glory, but to something precious that we've lost. Okay, so after reframing government as this flawed, necessary thing, Paine cranks it up a notch. He goes after his next target, a direct, all-out assault on the institution of monarchy itself. And you have to understand, at the time, this was the most radical, most dangerous part of the whole pamphlet. Paine just lays it out there. The whole idea of one family ruling over everyone else forever is just, well, it's absurd. He saw it as a total insult to future generations, chaining them to a decision made long ago. He argued that being born a king just isolates you from the real world, and more often than not, it opens the door to someone foolish, wicked, and improper. And man, he does not hold back. He just demolishes the idea with this incredibly sharp wit. He's saying that nature herself proves that inheriting a crown is nonsense because she so often gives you a fool to take the place of a great leader. He's literally calling the king an ass. And people at the time absolutely loved it. Now, supporters of the king always had one big argument. Monarchy prevents civil war. Well, Paine just blows that argument right out of the water. He points straight at England's own bloody history. He's like, oh, really? Let's look at the scoreboard. And he lays out the facts. Since the Norman conquest, there have been 8 civil wars and 19 rebellions, all fought over who got to be king. The monarchy didn't stop bloodshed. It was the cause of it. So once he's completely dismantled the philosophical reasons for being loyal, Paine shifts gears. He makes this urgent, practical, and really emotional case for taking action right now. The time for talking, he says, is over. And right here, he makes the struggle feel massive. This isn't just about taxes anymore. He elevates the American cause into a fight for all of humanity, a chance to build a safe haven for freedom in a world that was filled with tyranny. And then he just breaks it down with pure common sense. Why should America get dragged into Britain's constant wars in Europe? Why should their trade be choked off? He argues it's just ridiculous for a huge continent to be ruled by a tiny, faraway island that has no idea what it actually needs. And this is where he moves from logic and goes straight for the gut. With this single quote, he's talking directly to anyone who's still on the fence. He's forcing them to face the real human cost of the war. After everything that had happened, after blood had been shed, could you really go back to the way things were? For Paine, the answer was a clear, resounding no. So his conclusion couldn't be more simple or direct. It leaves zero room for doubt. The time for talk is over. 'Tis time to part. You know, Common Sense wasn't just a bestseller that kicked off a war. It was really a call to create a new kind of nation, one built on ideas and principles that are just as revolutionary and challenging today. And these are the core ideas he championed, the pillars of what would become American democracy. First, accountability. Leaders must answer to the people. Government's one and only job is to protect your freedom and security. Second, self-governance. It is your fundamental right to create a government that actually reflects your interests. And third, and this might be the most crucial lesson for us today, unity is strength. The only real defense we have against forces that threaten our freedom is our collective will to stand together. In the end, Paine's ultimate vision wasn't just about swapping a king for a president. It was about creating a country where the law is king, where no one, not a politician, not a CEO, not the wealthiest person, is above the rules. The law itself is in charge. And that leaves us with a question that's just as heavy now as it was in 1776. Are we truly living up to that ideal? Do we live in a country where influence can't be bought and where the law really is king?